Hello, welcome to 4th grade. I'm Miss Grader.
And I'm Mr. E. As you can see, we are in the new and improved 4th grade class, which was once and normally is the 5th grade classrooms, 21 and 23, with the big divider that goes through that we're probably never going to use to divide the class. This room offers a lot of space and opportunity for our students, not just to excel academically in a safe environment, but to also feel a sense of shared ownership of the classroom as we look to implore more of the responsive classroom policies and training that we were given prior to COVID. There's a lot of elements to this classroom where the students can make it feel more than just a place to do work, and that should facilitate a much better connection. In front of us here, we have a lot of our materials that we're going to be using throughout the year that we'd like you to be familiar with before your students even really get a chance to see them. First of which, many of you are already familiar with, Studies Weekly, the newspapers. Now, we use this to go through colonial America, specifically New Jersey for the most part. As the middle school social studies teacher, I will also be bringing in my own supplemental information. And all of this will culminate towards the big colonial fair at the end of the year.
I'll be teaching predominantly language arts. We have a nice hardcover textbook. We'll be using Wonders again this year. Every student will get their textbook. We will be leaving it in class, but it is accessible online. Every student will also be getting a practice workbook, as well as practice books that are specific to each unit that we do. Last but not least, we also have a separate program that we use for vocabulary and grammar. So students will also be receiving these little orange books. And that will be all of our main materials in addition to whatever other computer-based programs that we have as well, which students will be using some in class and some at home as well.
Additionally, we have math books, not just one, but 2 textbooks. Yes, they look a lot like the 1st grade math books. I assure you they're not. These books will be the vehicle in which to drive the students from practicing using place value through more rigorous addition and subtraction, multiplication and division, especially through word problems, as we venture into fractions, decimals, input-output tables, and geometry. Not only is myself and Miss Grader here to bring them through these journeys, but we will also have Maura Helly, the Hebrew teacher, will be assisting us every morning for the entirety of the morning. And the middle school math teacher, Miss Graham, will be with us for 1 period every morning to help with math, specifically with enrichment type lessons.
Every student will be receiving a binder. On the front of the binder is their schedule. Once they open up, the inside pocket is a homework folder, followed by their pencil case. After that will be their homework notebook,
Where they write their homework down.
Their homework planner.
Some
yes.
people call it an agenda, some people call it a planner.
Yes, they are not in yet, but as soon as they are, this is where they will live. We will have students write down their homework in it every morning, as well as post it electronically on Google Classroom. This page that's after it is a laminated sheet with all of the students' passwords for all of those online sites that we will be utilizing. And then following that are a bunch of supplemental math pages to help them out. Last but not least, behind all of that, students have a folder for every subject. And in that folder, we've labeled it still working on one side and completed on the other side. The goal is to keep students as organized as possible so that they can succeed, not just in class, but throughout life as they learn to maintain those organizational skills and responsibilities.
And of course, Chromebooks need to come into school every day and need to go home every day. It would be helpful if they were able to bring a charger in as well, as not all Chromebook batteries are as compliant as others. And so if they want to be able to use it throughout the day, sometimes the afternoon classes, it might be dead by then. So if there's a charger available to bring into school, that would be very helpful. The Chromebook should be signed directly into their school account, not as a separate guest account, but that should be one of the primary users on the machine itself. Some of you have been emailed regarding this so that we can set the student up so that we can help them not just access the different materials, but allow them to use everything that we have to offer and give them assistance as much as possible. Because if they're going through a user account or sharing with their personal account, they won't be able to do as much. And we, especially from helping from a remote standpoint, trying to log in separately, will not be able to access the information that they're using, especially if it's not on their school account. So please, please, please make sure that the school account is loaded onto the Chrome. So now we are looking at the logged in Google page of one of our students. The student is Landon. Don't worry, you won't see any confidential information, but what I do want to point out is to ensure that the student is logged in to their school account. You will see their username at students.grtwacademy.org. If you're switching between tabs with two different accounts, it's going to resort back to the primary. So if they're on their personal account and have one tab with their school account, all other tabs will most likely be back to their personal account. That's not going to work. Try to make sure that you sync the student account with their Chrome device or Google Chrome itself. From here, you can access a lot. So there's two different ways to access Gmail, either by clicking here or right here in what we call the grid, or as Ms. Montone calls, home base. All announcements from all Google Classroom pages will filter through Gmail. So if a teacher said something, but they have multiple Google Classrooms, like myself and Miss Grader with math, language arts, reading, and social studies, if they don't want to bounce between the 4 different Google Classrooms, they can likely find the announcement just by coming to their Gmail and looking at the most recent. Coming to their Drive, as long as they are logged into their student account, all work will save directly to their Drive. And that will make it easily accessible for Classroom for them to upload anything that's in their Drive to Google Classroom to turn in, which makes it very easy for the teachers then to be able to view it, edit it, give feedback, which is super important with projects, writing assignments, etc. And then, of course, there's Classroom itself, which after the great success we had with last year, we decided to keep and will likely do so going into the future. So right away from here, you see a to-do list at the top. This to-do list shows all upcoming assignments based on how far out we are. So if we're in the most recent, you see that there's Thursday 9/9 work from Hebrew, and then there's also work already posted for next week. There's also tabs for missing and for what's already completed, and what's already completed may also be graded. So this is a good place to quickly check on what's been returned with grades. If you come to the social studies Google Classroom, you'll see announcements get posted here. So if I update anything at all, it comes up as an announcement. If I was to post anything specific, such as wishing a happy holiday or posting a pertinent video, that would go here as well. On the left-hand side, you see upcoming work that's due. And of course, if we go to classwork, we're familiar with clicking on the subcategories when this does get cluttered later in the year to find what we're looking for. Important to note, all important links are also posted to Google Classroom. So if they are logged in, but for whatever reason their bookmarks bar doesn't show up with the links that Ms. Montone and I have had them saved to their accounts, they can also access those accounts directly from Google Classroom. So for Studies Weekly, if they forget their newspaper at home and they need to access it, they just log in right here and they can access the newspaper. And then, of course, between people and classwork, there will be a grades button for when they receive more grades. They can check that as a running progress report. Moving over to math, more of the same. No work has been posted yet. We're still waiting on textbooks for everyone. The links for big ideas, IXL, and Extra Math have all been posted here. So again, if they can't access it from their bookmarks bar, they can access it from Google Classroom. And last but not least, Miss Grader will walk you through her language arts classroom.
So similarly to math and social studies, we have, our things over here. As you can see, I have not yet posted anything because we have not yet had any homework or any new assignments. I did post your summer reading assignments, which you will see have been graded. So if you turned it in and you presented, and you can go to click your grades button, which, as Mr. E said, will be there. You can see how you did. Important links, just like the other subjects, are all listed here. We will probably be using these mostly in class, but occasionally, if you are remote or, doing some makeup work, you may need to use it at home. So, just like the other classes, you click on it and the link opens up just in case you can't find your bookmark at the top. I will be, I said before, I will be posting homework on here as well. And the way that I'll be doing that is just simply here in your announcements. So as soon as we start receiving homework, that is where I will post it each day, as well as having students write it in their homework book.
And last but not least, that brings us to our homework policy. Feel free to pause this presentation so you can read this in depth, but the key thing is expect roughly around 40 minutes of homework every night, with assignments coming from math every night, social studies only once a week with some time to work on that in class. Ms. Grader, anything?
Yeah, ELA will be doing some vocab and grammar. We'll alternate that each week. Spelling, we will have a spelling menu from which students can pick each day to do their spelling assignments, and on reading and writing will be predominantly done in class, but occasionally students may have some comprehension questions or some final work that needs to be sent home to be completed.
All right. One thing I do want to point out here is homework is graded for effort, not accuracy. Now that's specific to homework assignments. That's not the same for projects or assessments, but homework is graded for effort, not accuracy. Although you will see accuracy recorded at times to make sure that students are meeting expectations so that we, the teachers, can adjust when necessary. Tests and projects, plenty of notice will be given. More so for tests. Quizzes might be within the same week. We'll likely let you know on Monday if there's a quiz on Thursday or Friday. Tests, on the other hand, you'll know most often the week before, if not sooner.
Yes, and I can already tell you that spelling will be pretty much every Friday. Occasionally grammar or vocab will take its place or be on a Thursday.
And most importantly, grades. Not everything that students hand in will be graded. It'll be out of total points, and for larger projects, a rubric or a checklist will be provided so that if you're helping your student with it, you guys can refer back to that. Absences, please try to keep us all in the loop of any planned absences so we can arrange whether to give work in advance or if they're going to make it up afterwards. And of course, teachers, and if we have a student job for any student helpers with missing work, they will be the ones taking care of helping out at long absentees.
Last but not least, we are always here for you. We want to be help you and your student to succeed. So if you ever need us at any time, you can feel free to reach out. We've provided our email addresses. And we are here for you. We will do our best to get back to you within 24 hours, with the exception, of course, of holidays and Shabbat. So feel free to reach out anytime you need.
And we really mean that. If you have any concerns, questions, or even ideas or resources that you want to provide, I know a lot of you have a lot of life experience that you feel that students might be able to benefit from. If there's something that we can work out where that can be shared, please feel free to reach out to us. Let's see if we can collaborate. Last thing is just on the bottom here, these are concepts to look out for throughout the year. Please note the responsive classroom that we mentioned earlier as we try to implement that for social emotional learning. We look forward to having a wonderful year with you all. Stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you all in person very soon.